3-2. Stanton, left field. That's deep. Go ball! Gone! Grand slam! Welcome to the show, Mike Stanton.
And guess what Cody Ross talked him into doing? Hiking up those pants, showing a little sock. Mike Stanton, nice going.
Bags loaded, 2 outs, tie game, 9th inning. Drive to left and deep. Get out of here! Grand slam! Ball game! Walk off! Happy Mother's Day!
Light that baby up!
The 3-2 to Stanton. Driven to left. Gone! Grand slam! He waited out the veteran and hits it out of here. But there's no question as to where it landed now. 2 to Stanton. Breaking ball, fly ball, left field deep. This game is over. Grand slam. Walk 'em off. Miami wins it.
How about an exclamation point on that? The hottest hitter in baseball.
Stanton drives it right center field, hits it deep. Granderson back, looking up, and it's gone. That's over the old dimensions. Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-run shot. His first of the year. He's now the all-time leading home run hitter in Miami Marlins history.
That's just a snapshot of a very young yet record-setting career. The Marlins and the Mets getting ready. Game 2 of a 4-game set. Mets winners last night. Lucas Duda has been raking this year. D. Gordon off to a fast start. The Mets outlasting the Marlins. And Giancarlo getting to 155. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Marlins and Mets, but a chance to step back and take a look at the guys that Giancarlo in his brief time in the big leagues passed.
You know, we really wanted to show you all 155, but we wanted to make sure we got to the game tonight. But it all started with Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera ended his Marlins career with 138. Miggy right now, by the way, at 392 as far as the home runs go. Then it was Mikey Lowell, 143 as a Marlin. Mikey ended his career with 223. Then it was Uggs. How about Dan Uggs after Hanley Ramirez? Hanley Ramirez with 148. Hanley still going strong with the Boston Red Sox. And Dan Uggla, he was fun to watch. 154 as a Marlin, 233 in his career. We get the pleasure to watch Giancarlo Stanton all the time, night in and night out. He is fun to watch.
However, when asked about the record at the end of the night, Stanton replied, "I don't care about that record. I'm worried about our record this year."
He's more concerned about the 3-7 start than the home run total. That's a great sign.
Marlins will try to do something about that record tonight. Stanton, what a ride it's been. What a ride it's going to be. Marlins and Mets, we're getting you ready. even the series at a game apiece. Jessica Blaylock is down below.
Thanks, Rich. Well, last night, Giancarlo Stanton hit his first home run of the season, and boy, was it a big one. Not only was it a 2-run bomb, but it was also number 155 of his career, meaning he is now the Marlins' all-time home run leader. It's a huge accomplishment, especially considering that Stanton is only 25 years old. But rather than celebrate the achievement, Stanton says he has bigger concerns right now.
3-7 is the only record I know right now, so enjoy those when it's time for that. I don't think so just yet. Wasn't focused on even that until now. I just realized. I mean, I knew it, but I just realized about the ball. So.
And, of course, spoken like a true leader, guys. No surprise that Giancarlo Stanton is more concerned about this team than individual accomplishments.
All right, Jessica, thank you. Marlins and Mets, big crowds expected tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday. Bartolo Colon, David Phelps when we return. Out to the mound, Marlins and Mets ready to go. Miami's lineup twists. Brought to you by JM Lexus, D. Gordon, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, Martin Prado, Michael Morse. Ichiro getting a start in center. JT Realmuto back behind the plate. Adeiny Echeverria is at short, and David Phelps is in the 9th spot. D. Gordon, Bartolo Colon. And we are underway in front of a large house at Citi Field. Pinchapete brings you that first pitch. Bartolo Colon throws a strike. This is start number 3 already for Colon. Opening day starter for the Mets. He is 2-0 with an ERA of 2.77.
And I'll tell you what, Rich, what he does is throw strikes. 85% fastballs. He'll cut it. He'll sink it. Opponents hitting just 184 against the 41-year-old right-hander.
He'll be 42 in late May. Gordon lashes that one foul. And the count is 1-2. D. Gordon had a hit last night. He's been one of the bright spots for Miami this year. You see the batting average. He has stolen 6 bases. Colon misses away. Marlins got on the board quickly last night. Stanton's home run A 2-run shot in the first. Inside corner. It came back. Home plate umpire Lance Barksdale said it caught the corner, and it did. That's one that Gordon will go back, watch the video, and concur.
Now we'll take a look at the Mets defensively behind Bartolo Colon, Michael Kadire, Juan Lagares, a Gold Glover last year, Granderson, same outfield as last year. Eric Campbell, Flores, Murphy, Duda around the infield, and Anthony Record does the catching tonight.
Now Yelich shortens to bunt and takes outside. It's 1-0.
I would think, Rich, that Colon is a comfortable pitcher for an umpire to have, a home plate umpire to have.
He's around the plate. He's down waist and knees throughout the night. Murphy has it, fires to first. And that's really, Tommy, how he's made his living his entire career, which has been a pretty impressive career when you look at it.
Well, you went 206 games. It's impressive. There's a scouting report. He's a dart thrower, so that means he short arms it and he's hard to pick up. That's why he can get away with all the fastballs, and with men on base, he'll give you that slide step.
He would be hard to pick up literally as well. At 285 pounds and just 5'11". Stanton takes a fastball for a strike. 2 for 3 last night with that home run. Stanton drives it right field. It's peeling foul. And off the facing of the second deck.
With Stanton's Ridge home run last night, which was 155, he's now homered in 5 straight games against the Mets. 4 straight games against the Mets.
And the record 5. The 2 guys to do it, Ryan Howard and Henry Aaron. Stanton drives that one right center field and deep. Lagares back at the wall. Gone! Giancarlo again. 5 straight against the Mets. Ryan Howard, Henry Aaron, Giancarlo Stanton, the only players in baseball history to homer in 5 consecutive games against the New York Mets.
And Rich, I don't feel so bad that I said 5 instead of 4 initially. Boy, he's got that opposite field stroke going right now. That's his 18th career home run against the Mets as well.
And here is Martin Prado.
Well, when he sits back, lets that pitch come to him and then just drives it the other way. We've seen power that he displays at any part of any ballpark.
Prado, a one-hopper. Campbell picks it, wheels and throws him out. Miami's on the board first. Giancarlo Stanton. That's number 156 as well. Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight, let's go to Citi Field. Giancarlo Stanton and the Marlins here to take on the Mets. Mets winners last night in a real entertaining seesaw affair by a score of 7-5. JM Lexus brings you the Mets lineup tonight. Curtis Granderson, Juan Lagares, Lucas Duda. Professional hitter is Michael Kadire. He showed it last night. He's hit in 10 straight against the Marlins. Daniel Murphy, a slow start. Eric Campbell in for the injured David Wright. Wilmer Flores, a home run last night. Anthony Recker gets a start behind the plate. Bartolo Colon hits ninth.
And we get a look at the 28-year-old right-hander David Phelps, who last year was over on the other side of town with the Yankees, working as a starter some and out of the bullpen some. He was in 32 games, 17 as a starter last year for the Yanks.
Curtis Granderson, Juan Lagares, Lucas Duda. Popped up, third base side, foul. Prado, and he runs out of room as Echeverria arrives on the scene. There is a lot of foul territory compared to some of the other new ballparks. Prado used every foot of it.
Well, we'll check on that defense with Yelich, Ichiro in center field tonight. Giancarlo, you already know what he's done. Prado, Echeverria, Gordon, and Morse around the infield. Starting for the third consecutive game, JT Real Muto.
BMW bringing Miami's defense. Granderson back in there with a count 1-1. Phelps an outstanding spring. The Marlins tried to assemble as much pitching depth as they could get just in case there was an injury. Obviously they had to fill the seat of Jose Fernandez, but the injury to Henderson Alvarez has Phelps sliding into the rotation. Granderson puts a charge into it. That's Ichiro and Yelich. Ichiro calling and Ichiro catching. Those two look like they've played together.
Yeah, I was just going to say you have a couple of guys who haven't been together a lot, but Yelich wanted it. Ichiro said, okay, I'm the captain here, the center fielder, and he called him off. So good communication between the youngster and Ichiro.
Juan Lagares now. 1 for 3 last night with a walk. Phelps rides a fastball in and gets a strike. Notre Dame. 2008, a 14th round draft pick of the Yankees. St. Louis native.
I think it's really important so far he's done it for David Phelps to throw strikes. Mike Redmond doesn't know how long he's going to have him out there. Could be 3 innings, maybe 4, maybe even longer. But a lot of it depends on that pitch count because he hasn't started a game for so long. He worked in spring training. He worked 1 inning so far this year.
Phelps thought he had caught the corner.
I think Lagares may have thought that too.
Well, he did. Fox Tracks has that one right on the black. We refer to Fox Tracks throughout the night. It's the same technology the umpires use to grade themselves, and they are graded by the Umpires Association as well. That the very same pitch. Lagares didn't want to try his luck the second time.
David Phelps, 2-seam, 4-seam, a couple of breaking balls, curve and a slider, changeup, has all the pitches.
There's the slider, and it's 3-2. Last year with the Yankees, very much like his first few years with the Yankees, half of it in the bullpen, half of it in the starting rotation. Another fastball. Stanton going back, deep part of right, just shy of the track. He'll make the catch.
Well, he's always been, Phelps as a very valuable guy to a pitching staff because of his versatility.
He did have a side cinch, and he's been away from the ball club for the last 3 or 4 days as the Phelps family welcoming in Jack Edwards Phelps.
Yeah, David, his wife Maria. Jack Edward along with the daughters Adeline and Eloise.
There's Lucas Duda, who goes after the first pitch and fouls it out of play.
Yeah, a former strength coach with the Pirates, who's a friend. We're going to talk about this shift, by the way. Friend of Phelps's, set up the side session at LaRoche College, small college outside of Pittsburgh.
Named after Adam LaRoche. But not really.
Maybe his brother Andy.
Maybe his dad. Pitched in the big leagues. 0-2 to Lucas Duda, who is just having a great start after a breakout season. Phelps trying to catch that inside corner, much like Colon did, but he missed, and the count's 1-2. It's really great to see because, as you pointed out, Duda really languished out in the outfield as Ike Davis was the first baseman here for 3-4 years. Breaking ball misses down low.
There was a decision, remember, the Mets had to make, too, between Ike Davis and a Lucas Duda.
And I know everybody expects hitters to be complete packages when they're 22, 23 and step on the field. Chris Bryant. But that doesn't always happen that way. Here's the 2-2. And it's in for Duda. He's 29. And last year was the year that he really blossomed. Slugged .481. 30 homers, drove in 92. That one was a borderline pitch as well. 3-2 coming to Duda. And he went after a good changeup. And David Phelps gets through the first. 1, 2, 3. Big crowds expected. Big crowds arriving. 1-0 Miami. Awash in people and food and great smells. I'll bet the lines at the Shake Shack are a little long tonight. It's good to see all the people in the house. The Mets, the story in New York right now. Baseball wise, Bartolo Colon misses down low to Michael Morse. Mets at 7-3. They've won 5 in a row. Last time they've won 6 in a row was back in April of 2011. Morse goes after the next pitch and fouls it back. Ball and a strike. Matt Harvey t-shirt night tonight, and you got a hot team as well. Jacob deGrom going on a fireworks Saturday night, and then the Dark Knight himself pitches on Sunday. Matt Harvey. Morse pulls it foul. It's 1-2. Morse 0 for 3 last night. Colon misses up.
You realize when Bartolo Colon signed way back in 1993 by the Indians, he signed with Julian Tavares, and he got the lump sum of $2,500. Bartolo Colon, he's been an all-star. He's won a Cy Young Award.
When Colon did debut in the big leagues, look at the ages of the Marlins lineup. Ichiro was 23 and starring in Japan. D. Gordon was 8. Yelich was 5. Realmuto was 6. Stanton was 7.
So he got that $2,500 signing bonus. He's parlayed that into quite a career. He's making $11 million this year.
Well, Colon last year won 15 games, made 31 starts, and had an ERA right around 4. To third, Campbell in time to get Morse. Marlins 10-game mini plans on sale now. 10-game plans start as low as $240. Include tickets to some of this season's biggest games at Marlins Park. Quantities limited. Secure your 10-game plan today. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. Ichiro. Pinch hit triple last night and a matrix slide at home plate, which prompted almost a 6-minute review by the replay officials across the water in Manhattan that went Ichiro and the Marlins' way. Is very similar for Ichiro to a slide he had as a Yankee in the postseason against the Orioles. He reaches out, sends a soft fly ball to right. Granderson makes the catch. This was the play last night, and we looked at a variety of angles.
You know, the one thing that just kept coming through my mind, especially when it was overturned and Ichiro was ruled safe, the Marlins tied the game at that time, is that what replay's all about? I mean, if not for replay, he's called out. There's an argument. Red might be thrown out of the game, but he's still out.
JT Realmuto blasts one in the gap, left center field. That ball hops up off the wall, and it stays in play. Realmuto's got himself a 2-out double. And he didn't have a hit last night, but had some really nice at-bats. This one, he punches all the way to the wall.
The youngster against the veteran. No hesitation, jumps on that first pitch fastball. You're going to see a lot of fastballs when you face Bartolo Colon. We've talked about that. Nice job by Realmuto.
Already his second double. This is only game number 3. He's 3 for 8 as a Marlin this year. And here's Echeverria. 0 for 4 last night, but had the great series and a birthday in Atlanta. He goes after the first pitch. And it's 0-1.
It's one of those positions it's talked about often as a number 8 hitter in this situation. First base open, they're 2 out. You have David Phelps on deck, only 6 at-bats in his career. He's 0 for 6. But Bartolo Colon's not the kind of guy that's going to pitch around Echeverria. He'll try to paint the corners.
But he's more likely than others to get those corners and get those calls with the type of control that he has. He walked only 30 hitters in 31 starts last year. Echeverria lines it into center. Lagares reaches and makes the catch. Catch hit it well. Lagares a gold glove in center. A 1-0 Miami lead.
With Giancarlo Stanton's solo home run. For the past couple of games, we've seen JT Realmuto behind the plate instead of Jared Saltalamacchia, and Salty had a chance to address that situation earlier today. He said, hey, look, there are no hard feelings. My job is to do whatever I can do to help the team win, no matter what that looks like. I'm going to keep showing up to the ballpark prepared so that when my number is called again, I'm ready to go. Rich, up to you.
Well, thank you, Jessica. You've got Realmuto, the young catcher. Saltalamacchia, certainly a veteran, a world champion. David Phelps going to work. Saltalamacchia, of course, faced Phelps in many of those Yankee Red Sox ball games. Michael Kadire takes a strike, and it's 0-2.
Last year was a struggle for Saltalamacchia. He's gotten off to a slow start this year. But to his credit, and I think you heard Realmuto speak of it the other night, as Phelps makes a good pitch to get a tough hitter. To his credit, he has handled everything extremely professionally. A good fastball spotted on the outside corner. And he's going to get his work in. You hear all the players, most of them tell you how Salty gets to the ballpark, gets his work in. And Realmuto spoke of that the other day in Atlanta.
Well, there's another slumping regular who's not in the lineup in this one as Daniel Murphy stands in, fouls it back to the screen. And that's Marcell Ozuna. So it's not like Mike Redmond is taking this out on Jared Saltalamacchia. Ozuna is slumping, both offensively and defensively. And Ichiro gets the start in this one.
And that was how Mike Redmond presented it to Marcell Ozuna. Said, they give you this night off. Number one, he said Ichiro has a long career against Bartolo Colon.
Yelich is over and there, and he makes the catch. David Phelps looks very sharp tonight here in New York. Latest news, exclusive videos on the Marlins and your favorite team. Go to FoxSportsFlorida.com. Here is Eric Campbell, the Boston College product, playing the role of David Wright, at least for the next couple of weeks. The Mets hope it's just a couple of weeks. Wright re-injuring that hamstring this past week.
Well, it's only fitting. Every show on Broadway has a stand-in or two.
That's true. They did not announce before the start of the game that playing the role of David Wright would be Eric Campbell, but you get the idea. Stanton a few steps back, and a laser to right is out number 3. David Phelps has faced the minimum, and it's 1-0 Miami. Marlin fans, every Friday is a Marlins Flashback Friday, brought to you by Jeep. Tune in later tonight after posting the best vintage Marlins shot of yourself using the hashtag Flashback Marlins. We'll select the best photo and feature it in the post-game show. Hashtag Flashback Marlins. 0-2, David Phelps getting the at-bat, opening the top of the third. First time through, Miami has a homer by Stanton. That was to right. And a double by Real Muto to the wall in left center.
This is a game because of the pitch count for David Phelps. Mike Redmond will probably piggyback Brad Hand out of the bullpen first.
Phelps called out on strike. Second strikeout for Cologne. Top of the order, D. Gordon. Well, the baseball world struck today by the arrival of, the Cubs are hoping, the next great thing. And that was Chris Bryant, who made his major league debut. It did not go well for him. He was hitless, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, and it did not go well for the Cubs. They lost 5-4 on a Will Myers homer for the San Diego Padres at Wrigley. And I'll bet the youngster is just happy to get it all out of the way. Gordon called out on strikes first time up, rolls it up the middle. Murphy backhands and throws to first in time to get him. The Marlins in early June will see the Cubs in Miami. 6'5", 215, another Las Vegas product. He's actually older, a year older than Bryce Harper, another Las Vegas product. You see what he's done in 181 minor league games and an 0 for today. But you got to think that the nerves and all of that, the hoopla, the lack of sleep, probably caught up with him. And facing James Shields is never easy either. Yelich trying to bunt, fouls it off.
I want to put something in perspective to let Marlins fans and those in South Florida who follow baseball think about this. Chris Bryant's 23. Realize what you have in your ballpark in your Miami Marlin uniform. Giancarlo Stanton had 93 home runs at the age of 23.
Fastball up, and it's 1-1. Yelich bounced to second, back in the first. Stanton a solo homer to right. The only run of this ball game. Miami has the only 2 hits of this ball game. Yelich hits it well, center field. Lagares going back, reaches and got it. Wow. He plays a shallow center field because he can go and get it. And Juan Lagares just went and he got it. One 1-0 Miami in New York. Pricing before all weekday home games. Just $20 a person. Yeah, you can go in the pool if you want. The Cleveland now offers brunch before all Sunday home games, featuring $5 mimosas and Bloody Marys. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/groups. Wilmer Flores, Anthony Recker, Bartolo Colon against David Phelps. Juan Lagares in center field, showing off that gold glove and that terrific range that he's got.
Well, he was #1 in range factor last year. And when you see a guy play shallow the way he does, you know he can go back on a ball. And we've seen him make some nice plays. He does it all year. Don't let that batting average deceive you with Wilmer Flores.
Flores takes a strike. We talked about his big game against the Fish last year and a big home run last night. Flores, of the two shortstops, he and Ruben Tejada, profiles better offensively, whereas Tejada profiles better defensively. The Mets had waited for Tejada's bat to mature or arrive, and it just hasn't. And their hope now is that Flores' defense can get better.
Actually had a nice talk with the Mets third base coach, Tim Tuffle, about Wilmer Flores. And he said where he's made the improvement is just in anticipation and positioning. He said yes, his footwork could be a little bit better, but his offense certainly carries him. But he's made improvement in the anticipation area.
David Phelps looks like the David Phelps that impressed everybody in spring training. Strike thrower, out getter. Boy, do the Marlins need some starting pitching to come around in the absence not only of Jose Fernandez, but now Henderson Alvarez, who's on the 15-day disabled list.
David Phelps is a guy who came through the Yankees organization, the minor leagues. He was 40-15 in the minor leagues with an ERA about 2.20. So they taught him well at Notre Dame.
And amazingly, he's not related to Digger Phelps, former Notre Dame basketball coach.
But by marriage, Jamie Moyer is.
Well, that's right. Karen Moyer is the daughter of Digger Phelps.
You're ready to go to Philly. You always think you're going to see Jamie Moyer pitching one of the games.
Well, Recker walks in front of Colon, which might disappoint a few people because it means Colon might not swing the bat, which has become must-see television around baseball. Colon, this is just his third year of his career, and it has been a long one. We told you this is his 18th season. This is just his third season in a National League city.
Well, career as a hitter, he's 2 for 62.
Phelps going to go to second and get the out. Edges turn. Not in time, in the dirt, and Gordon couldn't scoop it.
What a nice play by David Phelps. A lot of pitchers aren't this active and get off the mound. He throws a strike, gets the force, and just not able to come up with it. Tough throw for D. Gordon.
Well, and a tough turn for Echeverria.
Yeah, because he had the runner record right on him. But a good job by Phelps to get the lead run.
Curtis Granderson now. Colon's at first. Obviously not a threat to run. Maybe a threat to jog. Granderson fouls it back and out of play. Inside, and it's 1-2.
Been kind of an interesting Curtis Granderson this year. With the on-base percentage about .390, but no home runs, no RBIs, and he's hitting in the 160s.
Sends that one up into right center. Stanton looking up into the flushing night, and he makes the catch. David Phelps erases a base runner, and Miami into the fourth carries a 1-0 lead. Without a run, without a hit, Bartolo Colon making start number 3 already, and busting out all over on his way up the line.
Well, once he drops down this bunt and he sees the play at second, he realized, I got to beat this out. So Bartolo Colon hustled up that first base line.
In full flight, Marlins live pregame brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Craig and Preston get you ready for a great story of the Mets Rookie of the Year with Florida ties, Stetson University's Jacob deGrom.
By the way, with Stanton's home run, and we showed you the graphic before, he's now 3 for 3 against Bartolo Colon.
No fastball for you.
No cutter or slider.
At 85 on the outside part. Pair of Florida natives, deGrom and Matt Latos, tomorrow night.
No cutter away, a two-seamer. He ran that one in.
Outfield playing Stanton towards right center. There's a huge gap in left center. And of course, Stanton pulls it foul. It's one thing when, you know, a defense can shift as the Mets have into right center and the infield is swung to the left side. And it's always a conundrum in terms of where do you pitch the guy? Do you pitch him how you're shifted? Do you shift to a mistake? Joe Madden used to tell us that although he would shift his fielders around, oftentimes he would end up, and not tell his pitcher this, he would shift the fielders to a place where if the pitcher made a mistake, that's where the hitter would hit it.
Yeah, I think if you have pitchers that have pinpoint control, it's easier to put a shift on.
Well, Colon certainly has that. Let's see what he does 1 and 2. to Giancarlo. Spun it, and off the end of the bat, it's a foul ball.
You realize that Giancarlo, with his home run, gives him 10 RBIs now. And he's tied for second already in the National League. The leader is Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks. Goldschmidt off to a good start, homered last night for Arizona. Goldschmidt has 12.
Stanton high.
Oh, he just missed it.
High fly ball to left. And Kadire makes the catch. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Well, Rich, we've seen some of the different promotions that they have done at Marlins Park, like Zombie Night. Well, tonight at Citi Field, it's Matt Harvey T-shirt night. Take a look at this. We know that Matt Harvey is nicknamed the Dark Knight, so this has a very Gotham City feel to it. It's got his number 33. And like you mentioned, the Fish will see Matt Harvey this coming Sunday.
Yeah, Matt Harvey on a Sunday. Jessica, as Cologne delivers a pitch. What's the buzz like down there? It's a full house, and it seems like both sides were anticipating that tonight.
Definitely. There's a great feel down here. Everyone's loving the Matt Harvey T-shirts that he helped design himself, by the way. So everyone having a good time, enjoying this baseball game so far.
All right, fireworks tomorrow night with a Jacob deGrom start and then the Harvey start on Sunday. They expect crowds in the upper 30s for a very big weekend with a ball club that has won 5 in a row and is 7-3 right now. The New York Mets. 0-2 to Prado. And it's up. Of course, you can't talk about Cologne without the drug suspension in August of 2012. And then in 13, his name was in the biogenesis investigation. He did not get suspended for that. Prado lines it into center for a base hit. Many felt that he avoided suspension a second time because he was actually caught by a test in 2012. Prado's been swinging the bat well. He homered and had 2 hits yesterday. And here's Morse, who bounced to third.
Yeah, it's been good to see Martin Prado swing the bat the way he has. And he's had a lot of at-bats. Over 350 at-bats in his career against the Mets. So they know him. It's been kind of a split career for Cologne. Kind of early. Then he had a period 2006 through 2011, a 6-year period where he was 22-31. But he's been rejuvenated.
Tapper to third. Campbell gets the out, and the turn nifty by Daniel Murphy, getting Michael Morse and ending the inning. your local Chevy dealers. Visit your South Florida Chevy dealers today. By Checkers, get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak. Try the new meatball sub, pick yours, 2 for $5. And by Subaru of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. 1-0 Miami on top, bottom 4. Matt Harvey t-shirts on Matt Harvey t-shirt night. Bartolo Colon, David Phelps matched up here, and Phelps so far has not given up a hit. Mets don't have a run. They had one base runner, the walk to Anthony Recker back in the 3rd.
And how about the pitch count for David Phelps? Just 40 pitches to this point. Really been efficient out there. We've seen curves. That was a nice curve. We've seen some sliders, a few change-ups.
That bunt off of Lagares. You could hear Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire, barking out, so to speak, in the box. In the box. It's your first pitch, strikes, 8 of 11.
That always helps. Just 28 years old is David Phelps.
When the Marlins went after Martin Prado and realized that they had to part with Nathan Eovaldi, they were able to send Garrett Jones in that trade. They needed another arm, another starter, or a candidate to start, possibly a swing guy, bullpen and starter, and that's the role that Phelps has filled for the New York Yankees throughout his young career.
And by the way, Garrett Jones has not had a lot of playing time so far this year.
Nathan Eovaldi in that rotation for the Yankees. Lagares fouls it back to the screen. Yankees, by the way, are in St. Pete. A 1-0 lead over the Rays. Full schedule, National and American League tonight with the Marlins and the Mets playing game 2. Mets winners last night 7-5. Full count, Lagares leading off the 4th. Hit hard, Gordon smothers, nifty play. Went to a knee and a slide at the same time.
Boy, that was nicely done because that ball was sharply hit by Lagares. Skidding away from him, he slides and just kind of smothers it and caught it cleanly to get the out. Not an easy play, but boy, D. Gordon made it look pretty easy.
Perry Hill talked about the transformation from shortstop to second base. And Gordon has made it nicely. He did that last year as a Dodger.
Now with the shift, you see Martin Prado on the left side. Strike 1, and now he moves over to the right side, and Echeverria. And we'll tell you the theory that the Marlins and Perry Hill have behind that.
Duda lifts one to center. That's Ichiro out there tonight, and Ichiro makes the catch.
With no strikes, there's a chance that Duda or a left-hander might drop down a bunt. Perry Hill feels with 1 strike, which the first pitch was, Prado's a third baseman. He's more likely and able to field a bunt. Now with a strike, they feel it's less likely that Duda will bunt. So Echeverria goes over on the left side.
It's instead of backfield in motion, it's infield in motion. Here is Kadire. If there was any doubt that Kadire was a professional hitter, as Lou Piniella used to say, he showed it last night. Kadire had some very professional at bats. Moving runners over, getting runners in big spots.
Well, he's a professional card tricker, too.
That's right. He's big on the magic circuit in baseball.
and loved his teammate Mike Redmond when they were together 5 years with the Twins.
Part of Redmond's rather long career for a backup catcher, 13 years in the big leagues. .6:30 start. Marlins live. Matt Latos trying to build off that last rain-soaked start. And Jacob deGrom for the Mets.
And the weather tomorrow should be beautiful.
2-2. What does David Phelps throw?
Talk about the cutter, 4-seam, 2-seam, change-up. He has that circle change grip.
It's interesting how that index finger overlaps the thumb, making the OK sign. On to first, Prado. And right now, David Phelps has been brilliant in New York. League baseball moment. 1962, the Big Shea opened. Close to 50,000 saw the Pirates beat the Mets. It was a tough year in '62. And the first hit, Willie Stargell blasted a home run. Was the apple operational in 1962? That's a Craig Minervini question, right?
Yeah, he could tell us that Marv Throneberry was in there. Ed Charles.
Here's Ichiro. JT Realmuto, Adeiny Echeverria against Bartolo Colon.
Most at bats and hits for Ichiro against Bartolo Colon than any other pitcher. 26 for 88.
Including 3 home runs. And in 88 at bats, only 8 strikeouts. That's a pop-up. That won't be a hit. Eric Campbell makes the catch. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Counts. Descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. JT Realmuto knocked one in the gap. One hop off the wall in left center for his second double in 3 games. Shoots a hard ground ball David Murphy's way. 2 down. Here is Echeverria.
We were talking about Shea Stadium, but remember the Mets first couple of years played the old Polo Grounds, which was always very interesting.
There's the 0-1. Yeah, reading that on the screen, it was. I was thinking, when did the Apple?
The Apple wasn't at the Polo Grounds.
Make its debut, and I don't think Shea made its debut that year either. Pitch misses outside. Yes, it was 1964 that Shea opened. The crack staff apologizes, and they will be fined accordingly.
Severely reprimanded.
Without a doubt. Here's a 1-2. Pitch misses outside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. But 62 was not a good year for the Mets.
Yeah, Don Zimmer was on that team. Roger Craig.
Echeverria to left and deep. Kadire back. It's going to hop out of the ballpark and back in. It's a ground rule double. Echeverria is still running, but he's going to go back to third base. Now, when this ballpark opened, that would have been a triple. This ballpark opening in 2009.
Yeah, they had not put that shorter fence out there, that little party area. So this ball, as it hits that wall, would have stayed in play. And with the bobble, Etch would have ended up at third. But as it is, ground rule double. He's at second. And that gets David Phelps to the plate.
That was dubbed what? The Great Wall of Flushing in left. And a swing and a miss.
We talked about David Phelps. Not a whole lot of opportunities. Just 7 career at bats. 0 for 7 with his time spent in the American League with the Yankees.
Colon pumping through a fastball, and it's 1-2.
And knowing that, that's why Bartolo Colon, the veteran that he is, just keeps pounding strikes. Something the Mets have done this year. Their pitching staff at 2.79 ERA coming into this game.
That is strike 3 called, and Colon strands Echeverria. Down goes Phelps. Marlins up 1-0. Marlins on social media, and there are several ways to connect with Marlin fans just like you. Marlins.com/connect. You get a full roster of Marlin players on Twitter, all the official Marlin accounts on Instagram. Share your Marlin memories all season long. They got the, I think those are one of the 4th of July caps, the batting practice caps for the Marlins.
Good look, good stuff.
Now, David Phelps was the last hitter, and this is an example of pace of play is kind of waved off, the clock, so to speak, where they have to restart the inning. Whenever a pitcher or a catcher is involved in that last play, whether at the plate or on the bases, umpires will give leeway. Pitchers are allowed to get to the dugout in a timely order, get a drink, towel off, or do whatever, and then come back out and get ready to throw.
And we've seen that a few times this year, and rightfully so. A pitcher should be allowed to get back in the dugout and regroup. Boy, bonus points right now with David Phelps working here in the 5th inning. Bonus points for Mike Redmond and the pitching staff.
Marlins bullpen is starting to stir. Just some activity out there. Murphy against Phelps. Mets still without a hit. Miami has 4 hits and a run.
How about Daniel Murphy? We've talked about him. 87th career game against the Marlins. And that average against the Fish pretty much around his lifetime average. He's at 280. A little below, actually, his lifetime average coming into this year, 290.
Into the bat. And Yelich towards the line makes the catch.
The thing that has been impressive with Phelps, not overpowering. We saw the pitches, the grips that he uses. Not too much is straight, though. He gets a lot of movement, cutters, sinkers. And you can just see hitters just a touch off balance.
One of the things you really have to like is his aggressiveness. And he is living in the strike zone tonight. 1 walk. Here's Campbell now. And he takes a strike.
So impressive tonight. 11 of 15 first pitch strikes.
There's his splits. Two and one. Campbell line to right, one of the hardest hit balls of the night for the Mets.
I think Campbell's done a nice job defensively. He's kind of been one of those players 6+ years in the minor leagues. It's played a little third mostly, some first, some corner outfield.
That's out. And Phelps walks. Eric Campbell. Wilmer Flores comes up now. We'll see how Phelps handles this. Grant Hand was not throwing, but he was stretching down in Miami's pen. Flores, the hero last night with a 3-run homer to tie the game at 3. Mets would go on to win that seesaw affair 7-5.
Well, a few years ago, Flores was the Mets organizational player of the year, so he's put up good numbers in the minor leagues. He had a nice first half in Las Vegas last year in AAA before he joined the Mets.
Yeah, career 292 hitter. With Pop, a .440 slugging percentage as a middle infielder.
Signed out of Venezuela.
1-2. Tom Kohler goes on Sunday. Matt Latos tomorrow night. 1-2 line into right field. It's a base hit. Stanton picks it up. The Mets have their first hit, and they've got a pair of base runners here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1 out. Maybe the saving grace, though, for Phelps is you've got the number 8 hitter in Recker and then Cologne.
Well, first hit of the night. Just nice hitting by Flores. Takes that pitch away, had a little movement away, and shoots it into right field. There's a guy, it is funny, he's about a .235 career hitter, but over .350 against the Marlins. That's one of those go figures.
Phelps walked Recker in the 3rd. A big swing and a foul back. Now Brad Hand is throwing in Miami's bullpen.
Yeah, you would love to see Phelps get through this inning, and then we'll see Brad Hand in the 6th. But keep in mind, the Mets are a club that they've been scoring a lot of runs. They've scored 19 runs their last 3 games.
They had 7, of course, last night.
Good pitch.
"70 pitches in." Terry Collins and his ball club came from behind to win last night. Infield looking for 2.
Way you think about it, Rich, this is a lot different from his bullpen session on Tuesday at LaRoche College outside of Pittsburgh.
Two strikes.
He's trying to use that cutter or slider, keep it away, and get Recker to roll over and hit a double play ball.
Campbell at second, Flores at first. Phelps reacting. Trying to catch the corner. Let's see how close he came.
Boy, he stayed down. He's gone in that same area. Yeah, that's pretty close.
So the count full at 3-2. And that's down. They are loaded. Boy, what do you do here? Do you bring Hand in to pitch to Cologne? Do you let Phelps pitch to Cologne? You've got Granderson coming up next. Chuck Hernandez is on his way out.
I think you let Phelps pitch to Cologne because it's always a tough situation for anybody out of the bullpen to come in a bases loaded situation. So Chuck may go out there and say, David, this is your last hitter. It's going to be it, because after that it's the left-handed Granderson. You bring in Brad Hand.
Martin Prado helping lead the discussion out there.
Either that or Chuck's just trying to stall a little more time to allow Hand to get ready.
This is really the first time all night we've heard this place get going. It looks very close to a sellout tonight. And they're getting riled up. The Mets have them loaded with 1 out. Cologne, shallow center, Ichiro there, deep enough to score the run. My goodness. Bartolo Colon delivers. And they love him here in New York.
Last night, the walks hurt. Mike Dunn walked a couple. They came in to score. The walks hurt here. In his last game, Bartolo Colon had an RBI. It was his first RBI in 10 years. Of course, a lot of time in the American League. Well, he's figured it out. He got a high fastball. He got it deep enough to tie the game.
And here's the answer. Mike Redmond is going to go get Brad Hand to pitch to Curtis Granderson. David Phelps looking sideways at home plate umpire Lance Barksdale. Wes Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Two outs. The Mets getting a huge at bat from Bartolo Colon of all people as he ties the game with a sacrifice fly. Brad Hand in for Curtis Granderson.
Well, unfortunately, the walks hurt. One of them came in to score. Thought David Phelps might have been squeezed a little bit. But either way, and however you look at it, a nice performance to give Mike Redmond, who was hoping for 5 out of Phelps, and 4 2/3. So you want to see Brad Hand get through this. Don't let any more runs score, and that'll help things out for David Phelps and the ball club.
Granderson has flied out twice. A strike for Hand and for Phelps. Staying sharp has not been easy. The Marlins' uneven start in terms of record. Means they've had sort of a ragged schedule for starters and relievers.
Yeah, and you know, it's been that way for Steve Cishek too, Marlins closer, who has yet to have a save opportunity.
Pulled foul. Hand has 2 appearances, and they've kind of been mini starts. 4 1/3 innings of scoreless relief against the Braves. His last outing against the Rays, 3 runs in 3 innings. Real Muto knocks it down. And it's 2-2.
Talking about Cishek without any save opportunities. Juris Familia with the Mets has 4 saves. Grilli has 4 saves.
You got to have a lead late to get a save opportunity.
Yeah.
Marlins haven't had too many of those. 2-2 coming. Got him. Brad Hand out of the pen. Big strikeout of Curtis Granderson. The Marlins lose the lead, but the game is tied. It's 1-1. It's down to 2 on big league rosters, and active rosters it's actually 1. And I'm not talking about Yuppie. Meister Turris is on the disabled list, and Bartolo Colon, an Expo for a little over a season. Of course, Dave Van Horn, the Hall of Fame radio announcer for the Marlins, the longtime radio voice for the Montreal Expos. D. Gordon and the Marlins try to get that run back in the 6th. Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton against a former Expo, Bartolo Colon.
You know, that year that Colon was with the Expos, it was 2002. He was 10-4 with Cleveland. Went to the Expos and was 10-4. So he was a 20-game winner that year.
Yeah, but he was traded for a virtual all-star team that came back from Montreal to Cleveland, right? It was Grady Sizemore, Cliff Lee, and
Brandon Phillips.
Brandon Phillips, thank you.
Yeah. And then everybody always forgets Lee Stevens. He was a big left-handed hitting first baseman in that deal, too.
Special guest appearance in that transaction. 0-2 pitch. 3 hops for Flores. Wide throw, tag applied before Gordon got to the bag. And an out here in the 6th. Toyota Trend tonight. Age 41 or above starts against the Marlins. Moyer had 20 of them.
I think he won 19.
That's about right. Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, Tom Glavine. Remember that start at Shea when the Mets were trying to clinch a playoff spot? I think that was 07. It was a Dontrelle Willis start, and Willis got knocked around too, but Glavine was knocked out early. Here is Yelich. That was the 07 end of the year for the Mets. And of course, 08 was the year they closed Shea, and the Marlins won that game as well. Wes Helms and Dan Uggla with late home runs.
That was a devastating day for Mets fans, because remember they had many former Mets, and they were going to have the celebration after the game, the introduction.
Seaver, Strawberry, Gooden,
Piazza,
you name it, they were here to close Shea. Swing and a miss by Yelich. And they chose to have the ceremony after the game instead of before the game. And as the Marlins filed out to their bus, which was beyond right field, as they walked the hallways, all of the Met dignitaries were lined up to go on the field, and the Marlins had to walk right by them. Stanton now homered to right field in the first.
Colon feels rejuvenated after getting back in the game, tying it. Come out and gotten a couple of quick outs.
Coors Banquet moment. He's up to 156 with the home run yesterday to pass Uggla, and the home run today. There's a 1-0. It's 2-0.
Now, he may not see a whole lot. Remember his next at bat in the fourth inning. Stanton just missed the ball.
3 for 4 in his career against Cologne. Who comes in, and it's 3-0.
Cologne has been with 8 teams. Won a Cy Young in 05 with the Angels.
What's amazing is his health, especially with the body type that he has, all the weight that he carries. Stanton fouls it back. Cologne spun that one up there. It's going to count full 3-2.
So at under 6 feet, he does carry a lot, but he manages it well.
Struck it out. Cologne caught the corner. Stanton goes down looking. The Mets have tied the game. Cologne is still in. And it's getting stronger as the night grows longer. Marlins Flashback Friday is brought to you by Jeep. Tune into the post-game show, Marlins Live. Post the best vintage Marlins photo of yourself. Use the hashtag #FlashbackMarlins. We'll select the best photo, feature it in the post-game show. Here's Juan Lagares.
Was looking back, Rich, at box scores, and Cishek did have a save opportunity in that wild 10-9 Marlins win against the Braves.
Broken bat over the head of Yelich picks it up, and Juan Lagares leads off with a base hit. And Lucas Duda and Michael Kadire lined up behind him. T-Mobile game changer. Lucas Duda, 5th Met with 3 consecutive games with an extra base hit. Frank Thomas, Lenny Dykstra, Rico Brogna, and Carlos Beltran.
I think some may get the original Frank Thomas in '62. Some Met fans would throw out Lenny Dykstra. I don't know if anybody had come up with Rico Brogna. Slick fielding first baseman, though. Very good first baseman.
Throw to first. Was that original Frank Thomas? Was he a medium hurt? Was he a small hurt? He wasn't the big hurt.
He was a medium hurt because he was a big right-handed hitter, first baseman.
The big hurt of that era, I guess, would be what? Frank Howard.
Frank Howard, absolutely.
Here's the 0-1.
Early in the year for Duda, this is where he's really excelled. He's 4 for 8 against lefties this season. And coming into the season, left-handers had always given him trouble.
Of course, Duda last night with an RBI single against Mike Dunn, which was a key hit for the Mets. Big, loud crowd, as it should be, in New York. Now it's 2-1. Hand came in and struck out Curtis Granderson. That ended the 5th. But a single to Lagares. Duda with the count 2-1. Balls, 2 strikes. The Nationals winning again tonight, 4-1 over the Phillies. Max Scherzer on the hill for the Nationals. The Braves are in Toronto and lead 5-4. The Blue Jays are without Jose Reyes, who apparently has a cracked rib. Here's the 2-2.
Yeah, Duda's gotten a little closer to the plate. And you can see, you just see his reaction, how he's hanging in better against lefties.
Lagares was not running in the 3-2. Not sure that he has solved Brad Hand's move to first or delivery to the plate.
Well, plus you have a hitter who is susceptible to a strikeout. Terry Collins has some good hitters coming up after, too.
He's running up the middle and into center. Ichiro plays it. The Mets start the runner, but that ball is going through anyways.
Yeah, either way you slice it or dice it, it would have been first and third. And Duda comes through again against the left-handed pitcher. Lagares on the move, picks up the baseball, so he knows it's going into center field right away.
And I think if you're the Marlins, this is the last guy you want to see at the plate. Michael Kadire, who had some big at-bats last night in spots just like this. Kadire drove into with a couple of hits last night. He's 0 for 2. Miami's infield up the middle, back for 2. Ground ball by Morse. Gordon has it. And the Mets have the lead. And Kadire does it again.
Remember what he did last night? He was trying to move a runner, and he ended up shooting a base hit up the middle. In this case, he's trying to stay back and go the other way with a runner at third, man at first, and he just does get it by Michael Morse.
Daniel Murphy now. There's nobody out. Lucas Duda at second. Kadire's at first. Sam Dyson, who threw in last night's ball game, and threw well for an inning and a third.
This has been the dilemma for Mike Redmond, getting games into the 8th and 9th inning. Dyson's thrown a lot. A.J. Ramos has thrown a lot.
Slow tapper, right side. Gordon gets the out. And it's essentially a bunt sacrifice that pushes runners up to second and third. 2 ground balls to the right side. One has scored a run. The other has pushed runners up. Eric Campbell now.
Now it looks like Mike Redmond's going to make a move with Campbell coming up.
Sam Dyson's coming into the ball game. Brad Hand. Marlins get 2/3 of an inning. He gives up 3 hits. So far, a run. West Kendall Toyota call to the bullpen. Sunday from 1 until 4 at Spares Bowling Alley in Davie. You can register your team and your lane at CFF30.com. CFF30.com. It's a great afternoon of bowling with your favorite all-time Marlins, South Florida celebrities, for a great cause. RBI, reviving baseball in the inner cities, and college scholarships, which are offered by the Cliff Floyd Foundation.
So CJ in the background there, Charles Johnson. Already his 6th appearance for Sam Dyson. You spoke of it, Rich. He was in the ball game last night. Dyson came in for an inning and a third.
Infield in. Dyson against Campbell.
Dyson made some good pitches. Remember, the only blemish, it didn't go on his line. The run that scored was on an infield base hit from Michael Kadire. He made a good pitch, but Kadire picked up the infield hit and the RBI.
Ball is strike. Duda and Kadire in scoring position. To right and deep enough to chase home another run. Stanton makes the catch. Both runners tag. Kadire gets to third. Duda scores. And the Mets have a 2-run inning and a 2-run lead.
Mets just continue to play real solid baseball. They used to call it ABC baseball. When they get men on, they're able to move them over. Kadire was able to do that. Squib one through the right side. They get a man at third. Cologne has a sac fly. Campbell with a sacrifice fly.
Wilmer Flores now. There's still another run 90 feet away. Flores goes up after a fastball. 97 miles an hour. Back to the mound. Dyson has it. Fires to first in time. Inning over. But the Mets take the lead with 2 runs in the 6th. Brought to you by Xfinity, your home for most live sports. How about Lexus of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selection? You're gonna love us. New York City all lit up, and so is Citi Field. 3-1 Mets on top. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Rich, obviously a little bit of a rally there for the Mets. D. Gordon coming over to the dugout, doing everything he can to get his teammates pumped up. He went from player to player and said, all right, come on, let's go. We got to do this. So D. Gordon trying to get his team back in this game.
Well, they have to do it against a guy who's throwing really well right now. Bartolo Colon gave up a first-inning home run to Giancarlo Stanton, and nothing since.
Look at that, just 75 pitches as he begins the 7th inning here.
A strike to Prado. Michael Morse and Ichiro also scheduled here in the top of the 7th.
I thought it was interesting. His fastball tonight, Colon's, has been upper 80s, 87, 88. Cut it, runs it in.
Line into right center field. That's a base hit for Prado. Lagares over to get it. Does. Cuts it off and holds Prado to a single. And tell you what, Lagares has been a factor in center field.
Oh, he has. And the fastball he struck Stanton out on to end the 6th inning. You reach back and it was not only located well, but it was 92. Prado caught up to a 91 mile an hour. Yeah, Lagares, you can see why he was a Gold Glove winner and why he was #1 in the league in range factor too.
Michael Morse. Twice he's bounced to third. Once it was turned into a double play. To right, Granderson. And Colon has the first out of the 7th.
The Marlins with their 5 hits, but each hit has come in a different inning. They haven't been able to string anything together. Gave Ichiro something different to look at on that first pitch.
See Ichiro 0 for 2. He's flied out to right, popped to third. The right side is open with Prado at first. Ichiro shoots it to the left side for a hit. And so Miami with runners first and second. JT Real Muto, young catcher, coming up.
Boy, that's the Ichiro to a T, and he got that pitch up. And no chance at all for Campbell or Flores. Ichiro with 5 hits on the year. Bullpen getting busy now for Terry Collins.
Buddy Carlisle getting ready. Real Muto, the rookie catcher.
He's had 2 good swings tonight.
A double and a sharp ground ball to second. A good speed with the trail runner Ichiro at first. Prado's at second.
So with good swings early in the count, his first 2 at bats, what does the veteran do? He drops in strike 1 with a get me over curveball.
Miami down a couple here in the 7th. You gotta love the pine tar on Prado's helmet this early in the season. High fly ball out of play.
93 miles an hour, so Colon still has a little left. Boy, you look out there and you see how shallow Lagares plays. It's really amazing. And then we've seen him cover all that territory behind him. The left-hander Blevins now joins Carlisle.
Almost every pitcher, as you see Brian Morris in Miami's pen, would rather have an outfielder playing shallow rather than deep. Cologne misses.
He tried to spot that fastball, get it to come back, but it stayed off the plate.
One, two. Boy, just broke it out in time to get a piece.
He'll get one more at bat tonight. Don't go away.
Another 93-mile-an-hour fastball. He really heated up to get Stanton. Finished off the 6th. 93 has been his top speed.
Yeah, and has gotten many outs with 87 and 88 on the radar gun.
We showed you that list of guys over 41 getting wins and making starts against the Marlins. Not many of them 393 in the dirt. And it's 2-2.
This is good at bat from JT Realmuto, and we always say that sometimes his first 2 at bats, even though he had good swings, he did the first or second pitch, but he's seen a lot of pitches from Cologne, and a lot of times that's a good sign.
Left it out over the plate. It's pulled foul. It counts 2-2. There were so many twists and turns last night on the back and forth until the Mets finally took that 7-5 lead and held it. Jury's Familia and Carlos Torres helping hold that lead. Bartolo Colon, Mets starter tonight, still in there with 1 out in the 7th. Another 2-2. Realmuto, center, Lagares in, dives. I don't think he got it. Did he? The umpire, second base umpire doesn't say. The first base umpire says catch. The Marlins will look at it. You would think Lagares made a nice dive at it. It was close. The runner at second was Prado. He thought he trapped it. The runner at first went back to first. He caught it. That's a great catch.
We've been pointing out all night how shallow he plays. If he's not playing in that area, most center fielders don't get to that ball. I don't care how quick they are. But there's the perfect example of playing shallow, being able to go back on the balls the way he can. He's able to rob Realmuto for the second out of this inning.
He's made 3 really nice plays. This is the best of the bunch. Watch it bounce up, but it's bouncing off of the leather, the fingers of his glove. Ooh, that's close.
Boy, that's close.
I think it's too late to challenge. That actually looks like it hits the grass from this look.
That hits the grass.
That does.
It might get a little of the leather at the same time.
But the problem is you only got a small window, and I don't know that they had that look in the Marlins clubhouse.
Marlins Pat Shine, who did a terrific job last year in his first year as a coach and handling the replays in the clubhouse, probably didn't have enough time to see all the different angles.
Here's Echeverria. It's a great illustration, and so was the play last night with Ichiro at the plate, on how difficult this game is to umpire, because we're looking at it slow motion. And last night, it wasn't until 3 or 4 minutes into that sequence that we saw probably our 8th or 9th view of the play where you thought maybe he did miss him. Darno actually admitted after the game he missed Ichiro on the first swipe. Echeverria, Colon has it, fires to first, and Bartolo Colon escapes the 7th. In 2015. There's a variety of new season ticket packages, including prorated full season, half season, 20-game mini plans, and the new 10-game packs. Plans start at just $240. You can secure your seats today. 1-877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. 7th inning stretch over. Big house in New York tonight. Bartolo Colon, who is larger than life himself, has gone 7 innings. Juan Lagares has stolen a couple of hits, probably prevented a couple of runs, all by himself in center field. And here is Anthony Recker, who swings and misses. Colon is done. Mets have a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, it looks like they just called up Danny Muno, switch hitting infielder. They were going with just 4 extra men for a while.
Sam Dyson got the last 2 outs of the 6th, taking over for Brad Hand. And if you're just joining us, this was a David Phelps start. Phelps nearly got through 5. He had not given up a hit until that 5th inning. A couple of walks and a Bartolo Colon sacrifice fly, by all things, and tied the game.
First major league at bat for Muno. the plan, by the way, for the Mets, what we were told, is that Rafael Montero will go to the minor leagues and have a couple of starts and then come back, and Terry Collins plans on using 6 men in his rotation, and a lot of that because of Matt Harvey to protect him.
So rather than shut Harvey down in early September, what they're trying to do is stretch him out between starts, limit those starts so that they have them at the end of September. And Met fans and I'm sure Terry Collins hope in October. Out of Fresno State helped lead the Bulldogs to the College World Series. 8th round pick in 2011. And Muno off of Dyson. And his first big league at bat is a hit.
Well, his major league debut isn't going to be as heralded as Chris Bryant, but he ends up with a base hit. Let's just hope Sam Dyson's okay. It appears he is.
Sean Cunningham and Chuck Hernandez out. Dyson will throw a few pitches just to test it. Looked like it hit him in that right hip or that right leg area.
Yeah, he appears pretty nonchalant about it all. So that's a good sign. So the baseball of Danny Muno will have a little piece of Sam Dyson on it, maybe.
Here is Curtis Granderson. No for 3 for Granderson. Muno can run a little bit. He had seasons of 19 and 15 stolen bases in the Mets system. Aggressive climb from Brooklyn to St. Lucie, Binghamton, which is AA, and last year Las Vegas AAA for Muno. And 1. Now full 3-2. 5 in a row the Mets have won. They haven't won 6 straight since 2011, April of 2011. Running on the 3-2 pitch, pulled foul.
Well, with the extra man on the bench gives Terry Collins a little maneuverability.
Pops out of Morse's glove, not far enough. Runner goes 3-2, strike 3 called, and the throw down to second. Echeverria does not even apply a tag.
Wow, I think he came to get the ball because he thought it was ball 4. He's got to stay at the bag. I think that Real Muto would have had him. He made a perfect throw to second base.
And Real Muto and D.
Little things, little things, little things.
Oh.
That was a perfect throw. And it takes away a possible double play in the strikeout throwout. And all of a sudden, with 2 out, the Mets have a runner in scoring position. I guarantee he thought it was ball 4 to Granderson and just came to get the throw.
And you could see Real Muto motioning towards Echeverria, and D. Gordon as well behind him. Here's another look. Muto saw him come in front of the bag, so he didn't even slide. If there's I guess a theme from the Atlanta home series, the loss of the series to the Rays, to these first 2 nights in New York, it's that those teams, the opponents of the Marlins, did a lot of little things. Pushed runners, took extra bases.
Boy, that's a great point. Outstanding point. At times, the Marlins have played good, played clean baseball, but at times they've let things kind of stray. And you do that at this level, it's going to cost you, and we've seen it firsthand.
You're right. When they did it against the Braves swept them. When they did it against the Rays took 2 of 3. And when they've done it these first 2 nights against the Mets, as you pointed out, Terry Collins' team has played ABC baseball quite well. Moving runners, driving them in, getting them over. Lagares out in center, running balls down. 0-2. Over the mound, Gordon on to first in time, and the inning ends without any more events, so to speak. The Mets on top, 3-1, on to the 8th. Strikeout is out number 2. Would have been certainly a close play at second. Here's Real Muto's reaction.
He can't believe it. And you can see the throw. You can see that it had the runner beat. You know, a coach can do so much. Perry Hill positions his guys. You can do so much. But when you're out on the field, you've got to think. You've got to do some of it.
Jeff Baker against Jerry Blevins. That's the matchup that opens up the 8th inning. D. Gordon and Christian Yelich also scheduled. Miami down a couple. Baker has not had a lot of time with a bat in his hands. Three games, 3 plate appearances. And swings and misses, and it's 1-1.
This is a guy that Mike Redmond needs to get going too. Is Jeff Baker. Get him some at bats. And it's really unfortunate, but it's because of the way the games have gone. We were talking earlier about Steve Cishek, about others who have not gotten those opportunities because of the way the games have gone.
Baker, liner to center. Guess who's there? Lagares, who has dominated this game from his center field position.
Yeah, guess who's coming to get it? Juan Lagares.
Boy, if he could turn into a offensive piece,
you know what?
For the Mets,
if he could do what he did last year, I think they'd be happy. Last year he hit .281 in 116 games, hit 4 home runs, but he had 24 doubles. That's all he needs to do.
If he plays defense like
that. Plays defense like that.
Yeah. Gordon's 0 for 3. He hasn't had many 0-fers in ball games this year. 1 for 4 last night.
Yeah, D's been on base 9 of the 10 games this year.
Blevins quickly out in front 0-2.
And working on a 5-game hitting streak.
Bouncer to short. Flores just got it.
Well, that's as close as you're going to see him. And I don't want to say it was routine, but it was pretty much at the shortstop. And D. Gordon made it that close.
Now Yelich with Stanton on deck. Which means this is the last hitter that Blevins is going to face, regardless of how this at-bat ends up. Well, he's throwing strikes. He's throwing well. $38,753. That's the attendance tonight. And it's great to see. 20,000 last night, but they expect this type of crowd tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. Blevins really tough on lefties last year. They hit just 160 against him. And this year they are 0 for 11. Matt Den Decker went from the Mets to the Nationals at the end of spring training for Blevins.
Mets were trying to add a lefty. For whatever reason, this has been a tough place for Christian Yelich to hit. About 15 games here, he's hit around 170.
Yelich rolls it up the middle. Murph is there, and Murphy makes the throw in time to get the out. And the Marlins are down in order.
Well, last night we were able to see Giancarlo with a home run. He did it again tonight. That put the Marlins up 1-0. How about the Mets tying it on a sac fly from the bat of Bartolo Colon? 1-1 ball game. Mets were to add a couple of runs in the 6th. Michael Kadire has come through an infield base hit. That produced 1. And with a runner at third base, Eric Campbell got a fly ball deep enough to give the Mets their 3rd run of the game. It's a 3-run ball game. Mets have done just a lot of little things correctly, and that's why they have the lead right now.
Bartolo Colon, 7 innings. You can see the line bottom of the page. 91 pitches. Stan's homer was in the 1st. David Phelps thought he was squeezed late in that 5th inning. Here's Brian Morris, 3rd to work out of the bullpen. And he gets Lucas Duda to start the inning. Duda, Michael Kadire, Daniel Murphy. Shallow left. Yelich, 1 out. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. And it's celebrating 13 years. Every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in true HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets. Pitch tracking widgets. Major League Baseball.TV Premium includes a free at-bat 15 subscription. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Do you have a pitch tracking widget?
I do not.
Oh, yeah, you do. Look on your iPad.
I do?
Yeah, go to Game Day.
I didn't think I was allowed to travel with that.
Here's Kadire.
That gets through security?
It's all included. Kadire into the corner. Stanton retrieves. Well, I tell you what, if the Mets get a full season of this from Michael Kadire, it's a great sign.
Well, what an addition Just a tremendous human being, not to mention a terrific baseball player, 36 years old. Terry Collins will make this move all the time with a lead. He's going to pinch run for Kadire with John Mayberry. Or is he? No, he's not. As we saw him make the defensive move last night.
Juris Familia is ready. Marlins saw him last night. Mets still trying to add a run here. Daniel Murphy 0 for 3. With Kadire at second. As you pointed out, a lot of innings for Miami's bullpen.
By the way, let's see what the Mets do. They've been able to. Again, we saw Murphy do it last night. He's going to try to drive in a run with one out, thinking differently than with nobody out. So I was a little surprised that Terry Collins didn't pinch run for Kadire.
Down the right field line, into the corner, fair. And Murphy's got extra bases. The Mets have an extra run. 4-1 New York.
No problem for Kadire to score on a two-base hit. And there's that guy, Daniel Murphy. Boy, this ball just stayed fair by about a foot. And Michael Kadire scored easily.
For Miami, this is game number 11 on the season, including the innings tonight. Marlins bullpen has worked 40 innings.
You just can't do that over the course of the season.
Stanton will lead it off, but right now Miami needs more than Stanton. Morris with a good live fastball for a strike. Eric Campbell has lined out, walked and scored, has a sacrifice fly. Now I know they've had big crowds in here, and I know they've had big nights, but since you and I have been coming back since they built this place,
I know where you're going with this, and I agree.
This is the closest to Shea that I've felt in this ballpark. Liner, Echeverria holds it. Like I said, I know they've had big nights, and I know that certainly for Mets, Yankees, some other matchups, it's been full and it's been wild. But for Mets, Marlins, and you would expect it to be even bigger and better tomorrow night with the Mets 3 outs away from 6 wins in a row. Rookie of the year pitching tomorrow night, and then Matt Harvey throwing on Sunday.
And also a big fireworks show after the game tomorrow night.
A strike from Morris. Wilmer Flores. An 0-2 pitch. Stays alive. Well, the Mets closer, Jeurys Familia, is heated up. Impressively, a lot of the 38,753 have stuck around. Jacob deGrom gets the ball tomorrow night. And Jacob deGrom, 6:30 start tomorrow night. The Marlins live pregame. 1-2. Bouncer, Echeverria to his left, spins and throws. Gorgeous play, and he makes it nicely to get Wilmer Flores. Mets add another and lead it 4-1. Your South Florida Honda dealer. And by Orkin, pest control down to a science. Bright lights, big city, Citi Field. 4-1. The Mets on top of the Marlins. In front of a big house, close to 39,000. Jeurys Familia comes into the ball game. Giancarlo Stanton, Martin Prado, and Michael Morse. Mets make a defensive change. Kirk Nieuwenhuis is in the game, and Nieuwenhuis is in left field. And here comes Stanton to open the inning.
Familia came on last night to nail down the game. Had a 1-2-3 ninth inning.
7 innings of Bartolo Colon, just a run on 6 hits. A perfect inning by the lefty, Jerry Blevins. Stanton takes in. This is actually one spot where you expect Stanton to get challenged. If you're familiar, walking Stanton doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. And Stanton goes after a breaking ball. It's 1-1.
This is also where Giancarlo has to realize that he can't hit a 2 or 3 run homer right here.
Familia rushed it up there at 96.
Yeah, fastball in after the slider away, so a couple of good pitches to quickly get 2 strikes.
Down he goes.
Came back with another slider. Those are some good pitches by Jeurys Familia.
Now Prado, a pair of hits. He takes down low. Prado is up his average to 289. 4 hits in the series. It's a strike.
Still does, only that it had the Red Sox logo underneath.
Prado goes down, and right now Jeurys Familia is dealing.
Well, he's just struck out a couple of really good hitters and made Prado, who you don't see look bad very often, made him chase a pitch way out of the zone.
He couldn't even hit it on Rand Eye Vision Cam. RandEye.com/listen. 38,000 come to their feet in Flushing. Morse 0 for 3. Ichiro is on deck.
He has that tight spin on his slider. That's what fooled Prado so badly.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Well, he struck out Stanton. And he punched out Prado. He had 1 strikeout last night. Breaking ball into left field. It's a hit for Morse. And the Marlins not dead yet. Here comes Ichiro. Reed Brignac will run.
Remember, Ichiro started this game tonight. It's been a struggle the last few games for Marcell Ozuna. I'm sure Ozuna will be back in there tomorrow. Plus, Ichiro had a long track record against Bartolo Colon.
Ichiro, a little tapper, and Familia on the first in time. The Mets have won the first 2. Now 6 in a row overall. Their longest win streak since April of 2011. And for the Marlins, another frustrating night in what has been a frustrating 2 weeks to start the season. The Fish dropped to 3-8. Marlins Live is coming up.